I think it's safe to say that when it comes to the bad years in the WWE, one year that epitomizes bad is 2010. And it's not even that bad. It's not even that bad compared to 1994, 1995, maybe a year like 2000 and 2009. 2010 was really, really bad. WWE had a lot of missed opportunities in that time period. And I look back at it, and I thought that the WWE could do a lot more other than what they did. And I think the one pay-per-view that epitomizes just how bad of a year 2010 was SummerSlam in 2010. Now, this was a show that I thought that the WWE could actually do some really good things. They could go in so many different directions, they could do so many different new, unique things, and instead they do the same stuff that they've been doing all of their fucking history. Now you kick it off with Dolph Ziggler versus Kofi Kingston for the Intercontinental Championship. Granted, we've seen this match about 20 times over the last year up to that point, and a solid opener that was ruined by the finish. And instead of giving these two guys the time to shine that they need, you devote this time to the Nexus. I think that was stupid. That ruined the match for me, and it really put a sour taste in the opener of this pay-per-view. Instead of getting these two guys over as individuals, you want to shine the Nexus that wound up failing anyway, and I'll get to that at the end of this review. And I look at a Dolph Ziggler in 2010, I look back at 2009, where's the improvement? This guy, I had some faith in. I thought that they were going to give him a character that actually worked. I thought that they were going to give him some matches and feuds that actually worked. And you look at 2009, and he's competing for the Intercontinental Championship. You look at 2010 at SummerSlam, competing for the Intercontinental Championship. Where's the change? Where's the rise? There's nothing out there, and that sucks. Next match, Melina versus Alicia Fox for the the Divas Championship. Cameron's all-time favorite match. That's all I have to say about it. Then you have Big Show defeating the Straight Edge Society. You're trying to get the Straight Edge Society over as a group, and you squander them with a loss to the Big Show. Stupid decision. And then you had the WWE title match, the Last Chance match, where Randy Orton faced Sheamus for the championship. And the rule was if Orton lost, he could no longer get a championship. And Orton did win the match by disqualification, but that doesn't change the fact that this match sucked. And the feud leading up to it sucked. The storytelling during the match was nothing. There was none. And the finish, the disqualification finish, was terrible. You talk about the build-up of this match. The build-up was Sheamus running from the Nexus like a little bitch. Instead of trying to establish him as a top dominant heel, you're establishing him as a bitch. Very simple. Everything about this match was terrible. And then you had Kane versus Mysterio for the World Heavyweight Championship. Probably the best match of the night, but that's not really saying much. It's not really saying much. You had this decent match between Kane and Rey Mysterio. I thought the right guy went over, but at the same time, you had this cheap return of The Undertaker at the end. It just didn't work for me. Nothing about that match worked for me, and nothing about this pay-per-view had been working for me at the time. And I thought that the main event would actually turn me around and turn this whole show around. And you know what it did? It buried it to the ground. You had so many different opportunities to do so many different things involving the Nexus. And you had them lose to Team Cena in the worst way possible. You bring back Daniel Bryan, the big surprise at the end, that actually worked perfectly. It worked tremendously. When they did that, I was happy. When they did that, I actually enjoyed it. I actually liked it. I actually thought that I could get behind it. But it's like, he gets eliminated in a stupid way. And you had Bret Hart get eliminated in a stupid way. Did he really need to be disqualified here? I mean, So many different things about this match didn't work, but the one thing for me, above the rest, that definitely didn't work was the finish. I'm sorry. If you guys thought that this was a good booking decision, then you're a moron. Team Cena defeating Team Nexus here at SummerSlam. This group, in the 2 months that it was around, was the biggest thing you had going, and it was the most dominant faction that you had going at the time. And perhaps one of the most dominant factions at the time, like I said, of all freaking time. And that could have been. It could have been. And it wasn't. Because you squandered it with a lame-ass finish of Cena just popping up out of nowhere, pinning, I think it was Justin Gabriel at the end, and then making Barrett tap out like he was no freaking threat. And I thought that was ridiculous. You could have did so many different things. You could have had Cena get eliminated early and have someone like a Daniel Bryan or somebody like a Chris Jericho or an Edge, do something. You could have had them win the match. That could have been a big surprise. Like I said, you could have had Cena get eliminated early, and him going to Daniel Bryan during the match and saying, you know what? You can lead this team. You got this. And then have Daniel Bryan come back and have them beat the Nexus by themselves. I would have actually been fine with that. That's great storytelling. What they did here wasn't good storytelling. What they did here was atrocious. And all this did was turn an already bad pay-per-view into one of the all-time worst pay-per-views in WWE history. Take the Nexus angle, shove it. That's all I gotta say.